Hey, you're listening to Ty Bollinger of CancerTruth.net. You're also listening to Justin and Kate with Extreme Health Radio. These guys are great. Enjoy listening to them. I always do.
Welcome to Extreme Health Radio. Extreme Health Radio.
Where natural solutions to almost every health condition are out there. Join us on our journey to find them.
Now here are your hosts,
Broadcasting from sunny Southern California around the world.
Justin and Kate Stellman.
Oh, and yes, their little 10-pound wiener dog, Maggie Brown Longbottom.
Welcome, everyone, to another edition here of Extreme Health Radio. What do you think of that intro, Kate? It's our brand new intro.
I am beyond impressed. That's amazing.
It's pretty good, wasn't it?
Something we've been working on for a little bit here.
A little behind-the-scenes action going on in the studio here of Extreme Health Radio.
I love it.
It's pretty good, huh? Pretty professional.
Maggie Brown Longbottom.
Little Maggie Brown Longbottom.
Of course, she has to be part of it.
Yeah. She's
With
just
her little ruffs.
Little puppy dog.
Little 10-pound dog.
So I want to thank everyone, all of you, for joining us on another edition here of Extreme Health Radio. It's really an honor and a privilege for us to be on the show with you guys, and hopefully you're getting a lot of good content. You're learning and getting inspired to get healthier from our shows. And my name is Justin, and this is my wife, Kate.
Hola.
That was good. I like that. It took me by surprise.
I know, because I usually just say the same old boring, hi guys.
Little Spanish there.
Uh-huh.
That was good.
Hola.
Hola. So we are broadcasting worldwide from cloudy Southern California right now.
Shrouded in cloud.
Shrouded in mystery and clouds. And
this is what happens in our area. They call it June gloom. Every June. I'm not kidding. June 1st, yesterday?
yeah.
Clouds.
Yeah.
And it'll be like this pretty much the whole month of June if it goes as it has every other year.
Yeah, when it gets really, really hot, I think the cold air mixes with the hot air right on the ocean.
And it creates a marine layer and it just does not lift.
Yeah, it's but
okay.
We press on, right?
We press on.
Somehow we're going to make it through, right?
I think so. We always do.
So we are broadcasting worldwide. We're in over 100 countries, which is just amazing.
Crazy.
And it's really, really an honor to be here with you guys today. And if you'd like to follow our show and follow us on Facebook and keep up to date with our shows and what we're doing, we'd love to have you join our community there on Facebook. Go to extremehealthradio.com/Facebook and click the like button and follow us on there. We post a few times a day. And let's see, for reference, today is Sunday, June 2nd, 2013. And this is episode number 107 already. Pretty crazy, huh?
Wow.
We started last August, and we've already done 107 episodes.
I wish I would have come in at the very first episode.
I know. That would have been great.
I didn't know this was going to be my journey, my path in life.
I know. It kind of became part of it, didn't it?
All new to me.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It's great.
You joined on episode number 75, I think, with Tamara St. John, right?
I believe so. Yeah. Was she 75?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a great guest, great episode, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, she cured her breast cancer.
Yes, she did.
What was the actual protocol? Do you remember what she did? She wrote that book about it, right?
Right. I do remember her talking about pineapple and cottage cheese and trying to think. Gosh, I get everybody confused. There's been so much information. I'm not sure.
I know. There's so much information.
She had a protocol that start with a G.
Was it the Gerson? The Gerson therapy?
It wasn't Gerson, but it was something I hadn't heard of that reminds me of that. I could be making it up, but yeah, I still have to read her book. It's on my list of things to do still. So.
Yeah, and she has a whole cleansing protocol. Remember she talked about the different order of cleansing and things?
I do, and that it was very important not to just charge ahead doing things out of order because it wouldn't do you any help, really.
Right, yeah, it was this whole order of cleansing. So yeah, it's fun to have you on the show. I think it's much more fun. I think the people like it.
I hope so. I love it.
Yeah, it's great.
I know neither of us have a background in radio, so it's kind of just fun to evolve, and
it's all new to us, but
hey, we try.
We're all learning, right?
We are.
So what else is going on? Let's see. If you want to support our show, feel free to do that. extremehealthradio.com/Amazon, and that will redirect you over to Amazon.com, and you can buy anything you'd like there, and that will help give us a little commission and support our show. So anytime you buy anything from Amazon, please go through us first. We would greatly appreciate that. And if you'd like to join the show, you can always do that at Justin@extremehealthradio.com or
Kate at extremehealthradio.com.
And you can send an email to us and we'll read it on the air. And let's see what else. If you'd like to join us by Skype, you can always punch in our ID there, which is Extreme Health Radio, or you can call from your phone, which is 949-505-9585. And we had a pretty good week of guests, didn't we?
We sure did.
Yeah, so we had Ty Bollinger, and then we also had Jeffrey Williams. It's kind of a cancer-related week, wasn't it?
It was a cancer-related week.
Wasn't that interesting what Jeffrey was talking about during his journey with cancer, with how the doctors treated him?
Yeah.
I mean, it's stuff that you think
At the Roswell Clinic?
Yeah, at the Roswell Clinic, and I think Buffalo, New York. Is that where it is?
I believe so, yeah.
And it's wild to read about stories like that, but when you talk to someone who's gone through that, and to see the level of treatment, how the surgeons and doctors treated him is just incredible.
Yeah, that was a sad story, but a great ending for him.
Right. He was given 2 to 6 months to live on with testicular cancer, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he went in. I think he started having some issues with, he was coughing in his truck. I think he was doing some security, home security installations and things. And
Coughed and had a pain really bad.
Had a really bad pain.
Ugh.
And it turned out to be testicular cancer.
Mm-hmm.
And the doctor comes in the room and says, "You've got 2 to 6 months to live."
Whew.
I think it was right before Christmas, I think.
Was it?
And his wife was just pregnant.
With triplets.
Yeah, so he wasn't even supposed to see his kids.
Oh.
Isn't that just crazy?
And now they're 3.5, right? Or 4?
Do doctors learn how to, is it me, or do they not figure out how to, communicate with people or have any bedside manners? I mean, how do you come into a room and say that to someone?
I know.
I don't know where do you get that from? It's crazy.
Well, the whole thing is backwards. I went to the day spa today.
Uh-huh.
And it's been a very relaxing day.
Yeah, you're very relaxed.
I am mellow. So if anyone senses the mellow mood of this show, it's because of me. But I was reading a book by Osho. I think I've mentioned that I'm reading that a few times, but it's called Courage, the Freedom, the Courage to Be Yourself. And he was bringing up an interesting point. I'm on the first chapter about how, I don't know if I've mentioned this before, I hope I'm not repeating myself, but how doctors over 2,000 years ago were only successful if they kept everyone healthy.
Right.
Did you ever read that?
Well,
they got paid for keeping everyone healthy, and they didn't get paid if people got sick.
Right, so it was kind of the opposite approach, right?
Right.
It was like completely 100% opposite of what we're doing today.
Right. Yeah, he said they didn't make it wasn't like basically a doctor to keep you healthy. It was a doctor to keep you healthy, not a doctor to keep you from being sick, kind of thing. Or does that make sense?
Yeah, and so what would happen? People would pay the doctor
if he kept them healthy.
Okay.
If they stayed healthy, and the minute they got sick, they wouldn't pay him. So his
revenue and money.
Sure, but his motivation too was to keep people healthy.
Okay, so if he's getting all this money from people, so they would pay him directly without any insurance, I'm sure?
Oh yeah, this is a couple thousand years ago. I guess that's how it worked. At least this is what this book claims, and I think it was drawing a contrast to what doctors today get paid if you're sick. I mean, they're basically banking on people being sick, which is really sad. And I know that, like Ty Bollinger this week was saying how, there's good and bad and evil and good and in every profession, and doctors who care, doctors who don't care.
Right.
But it sounded like in Jeffrey Williams' case that he had a few of each, and the one that blew my mind was the surgeon that he saw that said, "I don't care if you live or die on my table."
Can you believe that? I mean,
unreal.
How do you see a surgeon and before the surgery the doctor tells you he doesn't care if you live or die on this operating table?
Well, that's when you pull a Jeffrey Williams and you walk out.
You're out of there.
He walked out.
Yeah,
his story is incredible. That guy should actually write a book now that I'm thinking about it.
I know. And then he went to, I think his wife started doing some research because what did he do? He went to the kiosk, he said, in the Roswell Clinic and said, or in the kiosk he typed in side effects of cancer.
Yeah.
And it was like the very first one was death.
Yeah.
Organ failure, loss of hair, and then the immune system and all these things. But the very first one was death. And so I think he ended up talking to a bunch of people who pleaded with him to not do chemotherapy. Remember?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
They just said, please do not do this. And so his wife started doing research, and I think that's when they found Chris' work, right?
Yes, I do believe that is how it went down.
And Chris's website, we've had him on our show before. I think he's episode 13 or 14 or something, but his website is chrisbeatcancer.com. And he's pretty interesting guy. He's really helping a lot of people, but his wife found that, and then through that, I think he went on the Hallelujah diet.
He did, yeah.
Hallelujah Acres diet?
Acres, yeah. Or Acres.
Acres, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's primarily 100% raw vegan, right?
Mm-hmm.
And lots of cleansing. And I'm not sure exactly what it entails, because when we were talking with him, he didn't even know about the Gerson therapy.
No, yeah.
And that's almost, I feel like that's pretty similar.
Uh-huh.
But that involves like colonics and enemas and juicing, I think 8 ounces of vegetable juice every waking hour that you're awake.
We were talking about that today on our walk. That's a lot of juice.
Yeah, Jessica Anskoff did that. Her website, or she had some kind of wild arm cancer, some kind of cancer on her arm, and she has a really inspirational story. And she's from somewhere in Brisbane, Australia, near on the west coast or east coast of Australia, and the doctors told her it was incurable and said there's basically nothing we can do. And so she went and did some research and found the Gerson therapy, and ended
here
up
she is.
following that protocol for 2 years, I think.
Wow.
And which is basically, I think it's 5 or 6 enemas a day, or 1 enema a day, or a crazy amount of enemas a day, a juice every hour with the Norwalk juicer. I mean, it's pretty amazing.
Wow.
Oh
Yeah.
man, amazing stuff.
Pretty crazy.
So then we had Ty Bollinger after that, kind of talking about the politics of cancer. It was pretty interesting because both stories had to do with cancer, but not so much how to heal cancer naturally, but it was more Jeffrey Williams with his story of cancer and how the doctors treated him, and then Ty Bollinger talking about the politics and what goes into all these pink ribbon campaigns and run for the cure and all these types of things.
Right. That guy retains so much information. He's so knowledgeable, and I had never. I mean, you knew a little bit more than me, I think, going into it about how it started back with the Rockefellers and things like that.
That's right. He said I had a very big brain, didn't he?
You've mentioned that twice. That's a big compliment. You like that?
I did.
Yeah,
it was good.
I like it. You have a big brain.
A big brain. No, but yeah, it was quite an interesting conversation because he gave the whole history of the AMA and where that all started and how they were funded and
Right.
what they did to Harry Hoxsey, because Harry Hoxsey was the very first guy. It was almost like, if you're starting a new job and your very first project is some project with a new client, it kind of defines who you are in the company, that kind of thing. And it's your very first act or very first responsibility in this new role. And so the AMA was just set up, and then so the very first person that they tried to ridicule and take out of business was Harry Hoxsey. And,
of course.
And so Ty Bollinger's got on cancertruth.net, he's got a whole movie they're doing, right, with Harry Hoxsey.
That's right. And I believe he said his wife was considered for the part of the nurse.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
His sister?
Yeah, that's right.
I know. That's going to be good. Can we put the link to that on the show? Because I know that he mentioned that if people donate toward that movie, it could get rolling.
Yeah, and on the show, you threatened something, didn't you?
I threatened to send my donation there instead of to the American Cancer Society.
Yeah, remember you read that on the air to him?
Oh, yeah.
They're crafty little writers, those people at the AMA, aren't they?
They are crafty little writers.
Yeah, I should have them write articles for our site or something. I mean, they're good.
They're really convincing.
There's a whole thing of it, wasn't it?
Well, they kind of are, but then I think I was telling you after that it just, a lot of it contradicted itself, and it didn't even make any sense. The second time I read it, not only did it seem like all fluff, it seemed like they were just such empty words. It didn't even make any sense to me when I read it.
Yeah.
That was weird.
I know it's sort of like listening to a salesperson, a really, suave salesperson.
Savvy, yeah.
And they just say a lot of words, but you're really kind of left with what the heck is that all about?
Right. That's how I felt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
a lot of big puffy words with no real content.
Puffy cloud words.
But it makes you feel good, though.
It sure does.
So, yeah, Ty Bollinger, that was episode 106, and Jeffrey Williams was 105, and those are some pretty good interviews on cancer. If you know anyone with cancer or anything like that, please pass those shows on. And we've got some good guests coming up, too, on Monday, which is tomorrow. We've got Dr. Lauren Cordain.
Nice.
And he's kind of the father of the paleo movement.
Yep.
He invented the paleo diet.
He invented it.
He invented that diet. No, a lot of people.
Did he name it paleo?
A lot of people joke about it. No, I don't know if he. Well, he may have coined that term because his book came out, I think, in the late 90s, and it's just called the paleo diet.
Oh, so maybe it was him.
So maybe he did coin that term. I mean, he's kind of known as the father and the originator of that whole movement.
Cool.
But then we've got Dr. Harvey Beagleson, who should be an interesting guest.
Yes.
You know what I want to ask Dr. Cordain, though?
What?
It's interesting because his whole theory is based on evolution.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's all based on, what the ancestral diet of man was and what we ended up, what we ate 200,000 years or 2 million years ago. But what if you don't believe in evolution?
Oh.
What is there still merit to the theory? I would suspect there is.
Huh, that's a great question.
I want to ask him about that.
That is a great question.
Because, a lot of Christians or a lot of people that believe other theories of how we got here, maybe the Anunnaki or...
The Anunnaki?
The Anunnaki.
That is a great name.
But, regardless of your thoughts about that, if you happen to not believe in evolution, I'm just curious what the...
That's a great question.
Response to that is... Yeah, Dr. Cordain, he's an interesting guy. And then Dr. Harvey Beagleson. Now, he's a guy that looks at live blood cell analysis from, I think, it's like a 3-dimensional viewpoint or image that he's got.
How is that?
Yeah, I'm not sure. He's really kind of on the cutting edge. Remember we're listening to something of his on YouTube or something, and he was talking about how he was able to see, like women were able to see if they're pregnant.
Oh, that's right.
In their blood, you could see it. You can actually see it, or you could see, like one lady was able to see a broken hip.
That's right, before even the accident happened.
And then 3 days later, she fell and broke her hip.
Wow.
I mean, it's some crazy things. It's almost kind of Twilight Zone kind of stuff, you know?
Yeah, totally.
But it's interesting, and he's got a lot to say about live blood cell analysis. He's kind of taking that to another level, it seems like.
He's going to be a great guest.
And then we have Alex Lloyd, PhD, of the Healing Codes on Thursday. That's going to be fun.
That is going to be great.
You know who we are going to get to is Gilbert Renaud.
Oh, right. I've heard him a few times.
From Recall Healing.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a really interesting guy. But Dr. Alex Lloyd is kind of on the same lines of that, and as well as Bradley Nelson.
Right.
Yeah, and talking about how the emotion plays a role in our healing. I really think it does.
I would have to agree with that.
Because, it's all energy, right? And we'll talk about that right after the break, but
yeah,
it's all energy, and you had an interesting experience, didn't you?
Talk about Fifth Dimension and Twilight Zone. I had a crazy experience.
Well, you went to the 15th.
I believe I did.
How was it?
It was fascinating.
Was the weather cold or was it warm?
A little toasty.
It was toasty. No, but you had an interesting discussion with
Mr. Chris Kehler.
Mr. Chris Kehler. And if you haven't listened to that interview, please take a listen to that. He's a really interesting guy. It's all about energy medicine and things. And it's CHRIS and then KEHLER. A lot of times if you just go to Google and type Extreme Health Radio, all one word, space, and then a guest name, you can find it. Or you can go to our guest list page and find that. I forget which episode that was, but do you want to share a little bit about that right after the break?
Sure.
All right. I think it's right around time for a break here.
Maggie's. Oh, we're not recorded, are we?
We are.
No.
I just undid it.
No, you didn't.
I did. We're recording.
Okay. No, we're not.
We are.
Well, I was going to say, either way, whether we are or not, Maggie's eyes were rolling back in her head.
Oh.
And she's twitching like she's running through the forest in a dream.
Little dachshund legs.
I know.
Little 2-inch legs.
Little puppy pants.
Little puppy pants.
Yeah.
So we got to take a quick break. We'll go over some of your experiences with Chris Kehler after the break, and we'll also do some listener questions and that kind of stuff. So stay with us. We'll be right back after this break. As of this recording, we've done about 56 shows so far, I believe, or 57, I think it is now. And this is a website and a project that Kate and I are fully committed to, and it's my life's work. And I've been into health and nutrition and helping people for so many years. And if you at all want to donate to us to help support our work, we would greatly, greatly appreciate that. You can just go to extremehealthradio.com/donate. And a lot of people think that if they donate $1 or $2, that doesn't mean much. But if all you have is $1 or $2, that would be so helpful if you wanted to donate to help keep our website free. We don't want to charge for this work. We don't want to charge for the interviews at all. I know a lot of people are doing that these days, and that's okay. You know, everyone has to make money, but we want to keep things free so that if people really, really need this information and this help, they can access it without having to pay anything. So if you have $1 or $2 or $5 or $10, please go to extremehealthradio.com/donate, and you can read our story on there and donate as little as $1 or as much as you like. And you can even do it on a monthly basis too if you like, but that will help keep it free for people who can't afford to do that, and it will help support our work. We'll use the money to buy equipment to make sure the shows stay really good quality, and to pay all of our bills for the hosting, for the phone lines, for the server costs, for all the equipment we need and the software and all of that. So we really, really want to put out a good show for you so that you can enjoy it and not charge. So if you can spare $1 or $2, we would greatly, greatly appreciate that. So thank you so much for being a part of our work. And if you donate, please let me know. I will thank you personally, and let me know if there's anything I could ever do for you. You can email me, justin@extremehealthradio.com, and my wife and I would love to help you out in any way we possibly can. So thanks for listening and being a part of what we do. And again, just let me know if I can help in any way. And let's get back to the show.
100% listener supported. Extreme Health Radio. Opening minds and transforming lives worldwide. Join the show now on Skype at Extreme Health Radio, or call 949-505-9585. Hello. That's 949-505-9585.
Well, this is the fun pilot episode of our new audio.
Yeah, huh?
I love it.
It's pretty nice, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a big day.
It's a big day. Yeah, I like it.
It's fun. Makes me smile. I like it.
It does.
And I feel like playing the banjo.
I know, it's so good. What is that? Is that a banjo right there? It is, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. He's picking it.
Definitely banjo.
Oh, wow. So you had an interesting... Actually, I should tell people that the episode with Chris Kehler was episode number 95. So if you just go to our website and then do /95, you'll get to Chris Keller's episode. But
he is worth listening to, because I'm not going to do it justice explaining what exactly went on with my session with him, but I can tell my own experience.
Yeah. So you had an experience with him. You talked to him on Skype, right? You set up an appointment with him?
I did.
After we did our show?
Right, yes. He was very kind to set up an appointment with me, and we met Wednesday, so today's Sunday. So, yeah, a couple days ago. And, wow.
You came out. I was doing the dishes, and you came out, and you were just, like, floored.
Yeah. He had written me an email. We confirmed the day before, the time and all that. And he said, just wait, this is going to be good. You'll see.
He said that the day before? Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yeah, or 2 days before. And that kind of got me excited just to experience it, because after having that interview with him, I was so curious to see what this was all about and what it would be like. And it's kind of the thing where you just don't know to believe it till you've experienced it, kind of thing.
Right.
You want to, but you just can't imagine what it's going to be like. So,
right.
Anyway.
So you were kind of unsuspecting, or you weren't expecting, you didn't know what to expect at all.
Yeah, I went in with no expectations, but a hopeful attitude, you know, and I was very relaxed and just feeling like I'm open to this, you know. And I think that's part of the whole thing is a couple of years ago, I don't think I would have even known what to do with this experience, let alone have been open enough to go through it. So I feel like I've personally grown a lot in that way. And I'm just so grateful for all the things that are being shown to me, and my teachers are kind of being exposed. So
yeah, because you know, if you have an open mind, you create more possibility. Sure. You know, in every area of your life, right?
Well, yeah, absolutely. And I think Chris Kehler was one of those things that I believe he'll be in my life for sure. And I think so many people, and I hope a lot of our listeners too, are going to be able to contact him and get some healing, because I'll share a little bit about what happened with me if you want me to. Yeah.
So you set up the call with Skype, right? And were you on video with him or no?
No.
You weren't. Okay.
He said that we could be, but that didn't have to be, that wasn't necessary.
Okay.
So we both were just on the phone, and just a little bit about him. It's energetic medicine, I believe. Is that how you would sum up what he does?
Yeah, it sounds like it's
energy medicine.
He would call energy medicine. And yeah, it's kind of hard to explain, but it uses different. What does he do? Different. I
don't even know how to explain it.
Yeah,
that's why people need to listen to the interview.
Yeah, it's interesting because it's really kind of cutting edge stuff, but at the same time, it's like I don't even know how to quantify it or how to talk about it in an intelligent way.
I don't either.
It has to do with quantum mechanics, right, and string theory, and energy, and how energy moves through space and time, and how our bodies vibrate at certain resonant frequencies, right, and vibratory patterns. Different organs vibrate at different
frequencies.
Yeah, frequencies and vibratory patterns, and so it's kind of similar to what they do with the Rife machine, or using sound and noise and sound and frequencies like that to blow apart different viruses, because they all resonate at certain frequencies. And so we know a guy in the area who does this kind of work with Rife machines and things.
Was his biophoton machine the same is that what the Rife machine was, or was that something different?
I think the biophoton machine is different.
That was incredible when we did that.
Yeah, it really works on a deeper level than just the physical plane. So it's kind of similar to homeopathic and homeopathy, because it works, on an energetic level. So, you don't have to be in the same area.
Right.
For people to affect you. So
that's what was so weird. I couldn't believe I didn't have to have a video conference with him. It was just like Bradley Nelson was saying, Dr. Bradley Nelson, is just like so many things exist that are out there existing that you can just do over the phone with someone. And that's what Chris Kehler claims, that I think 50% or more of his clients are distance based.
Wow.
So yeah, it's incredible. So yeah, so we connected up on Skype, and I was he had me sit down, and we chatted for a few minutes, and he asked me a few of my health concerns, which I had mentioned to him. I was having, just a lot, in the last few years, I've just had some digestive issues and liver gallbladder stuff. And also like, what do you call it? I have a uterine fibroid. So I kind of mentioned that to him. And he said, okay, well, we'll go into asking your body, basically putting it out there and seeing what it needs, kind of thing.
Right.
And then I'm not sure how this all played out, but he has a pendulum that he uses to kind of get answers to what's going on with your body. And at the beginning, we apparently harnessed or went through a few different dimensions. So I'm not sure what that means. He was funny because he kind of said out loud what we were doing as he was doing it. And then he was funny. He said, well, welcome back.
Where did I go?
I know. And I was like, I have no idea. I didn't know I went anywhere. So at that point I was like, oh, this is interesting,
Yeah.
And then he asked aloud, he goes through a process asking questions, like what in Kate's body needs healing, what in Kate's body specifically. And he got to the digestive issue, and then he said, yeah, it was specifically the liver, and then kind of elaborated more on what my issues were. And then he said, okay, well, let's work on those and let's clear those out. And he said, don't panic. We basically, we have a lot of success with this, and it's just a condition like having a cold. Like,
right.
Don't freak out with any kind of thing I tell you. I just want to tell you where you're at.
Right.
And because it's concerning when somebody tells you something about your health,
Yeah.
that you don't know. Or
right. But you know what, too, though, is interesting about that is that that still gets into how we've been somewhat brainwashed as a culture and as a society, because we put so much stock in what other people say about us.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Who was it? I think it was Voltaire that said something about it's not. Was it Voltaire or something? He said something about how what other people think about me is none of my business.
Huh.
I think it was something. No, I'm confusing that with a different quote by Voltaire. I think the one I'm thinking of is the most important thing you could ever do is choose to be in a positive mood or something.
Oh, that's right. That was yeah.
But
that other one was good though.
Yeah, I forgot where I heard that from, but it's. But we put so much stock. Like if the doctor tells us that we have something or you've got a disease or whatever, it's just so interesting how we own that, you know?
Yeah.
And that becomes like you feel your heart sink or you feel
your blood goes cold.
Yeah. And so even when you're talking to a naturopathic person,
right, and
they say something concerning, it still shows our level of, I guess, trust or I don't even know how to say that. But.
It was weird because he did tell me something concerning to me, and. Yeah, initially, I mean, my blood just went cold. My heart started beating, and you're like, "Oh, really?" You know?
Yeah.
And usually, in my case, that kind of stuff just freaks me out, and I'll stress out, and I'll get all like hyperventilating and weird and anxiety ridden. And this only lasted for a few minutes, and he told me just not to be worried about it, and just this wave of peace kind of came over me, and the rest of the phone call went really well, and it just really dissipated. And since then, it's been interesting. I haven't been probably as panicked or anxiety riddled as I would have been hearing this in the past. So clearly it was a good experience for me. And
so you're kind of using it as a wake up call to increase your health, right? You kind of
very much so.
Yeah, because what I was saying is a lot of people, in the world might just think, oh, energy medicine, it's a bunch of bunk. But, really everything is, EKGs and electroencephalograms for your heart and all these kinds of things. If you have a heart attack and they shock your heart, it's all energy. It's all frequencies and vibration that's shocking you. And so really, I mean, I don't know why we're so closed-minded as a culture to this type of work, but for people that are closed-minded, it really doesn't matter, because I think that God speaks to us in everything that we do.
Yeah.
Every person we interact with, whether or not they think about these things the same as we do. God can use anything and anyone to speak with us or speak to us.
Right.
And so really it depends on how your reaction to that is, and where you take it in terms of whether or not God may have been using him to speak with you, speak to you about, kind of waking up a little bit more about your health.
Well, and what was interesting is a friend this week actually shared a really great verse with me from the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one I hadn't really heard before. It's Psalm, I'm sure I've read it, but it stuck out this week to me. Psalm 16:11, you always show me the path that leads to life.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And to me, that was like, whatever God wants to do in my life to get me to that point that leads me to life is I'll take any and everything.
So this was a friend that sent this to you out of the blue?
No, I was doing her hair actually this week, and she mentioned it, and I said, what was that reference? And she texted it to me, and all week I've been trying to memorize it. I just thought that was really appropriate for my week and my path. And, just the fact that this Chris Kehler thing came about, I just feel very blessed and
because
grateful.
If, we were talking about in the kitchen, what if, we didn't speak with him, or, he actually reached out to us.
Yes, he did.
And I think, no, it wasn't. Maybe he did. I think it was a friend or someone who had listened to the show on a regular basis said, hey, you need to interview this guy.
That's right.
Chris Kehler. That's what
right.
It, yeah, that's what it was.
That was it.
And so, I mean, what if that person never found us to begin with, and we would have never heard of Chris Kehler? And you know what I mean?
You just wonder, I could have continued to get more sick in ways that I didn't even know was going on, because I've had blood work done up in the last few years of this liver gallbladder issue. And, in the last 6 to 8 months, nothing shows up, and it's just interesting to have a different perspective. Something that maybe even blood work wasn't showing.
So when you spoke with him, were you doubtful at all? Or before you started getting into it with him, were you kind of thinking, oh, I don't know if this is going to work or if this is going to be weird, or what was your experience?
Surprisingly, not really, because usually I'm a little bit more so. I went into it with no expectations, but full confidence that it works. And I think that's when, I'm not sure with people, I'm curious. I want to ask him this next time, we have him on the show, if it works as well on people who are doubtful, like it probably does. It probably does. But, so you want me to keep going about my experience?
Yeah.
Okay. Because what happened next was pretty wild. So he, after he told me some stuff about what was going on in my body, he had me stand up, and he said, let me know when you're feeling anything. And I said, okay. And I wanted to feel something so bad. I was like, I don't know. I've never felt what I think I'm wanting to feel.
Right.
So I stood up, and probably within like 20 seconds, I felt like a small sway.
Okay.
And my body was kind of swaying. I was just kind of rolling with it. I didn't have my knees locked. I was just kind of like chill. But like when I usually stand there and just, that doesn't usually happen to me. And all of a sudden, like full on, I felt like this magnetism pulling me in like both ways. I was doing like circles, figure eights. My body was just moving around, and it was so real. It was like warm and magnetic, and I've never felt anything like it in my life. And as this started happening, Maggie started freaking out.
I remember I had to get her out of the studio.
She was just laying asleep, and all of a sudden she gets up and starts running in circles and barking.
Yeah, I remember that.
And you came and let her out, and then you kind of looked at me like, hey, you doing good? And I was kind of like, thumbs up,
Yeah.
And then she left, and I just felt the surge of just talk about the energy. I've never experienced anything like that in my life. And it was so cool.
But what was his explanation of what that was?
You know what? It was so funny. I didn't ask him.
No,
but he just asked me to tell him what I was feeling, and I said, I'm doing some. I don't think I actually even told him as much when he asked me like what was going on, because I was so like peaceful with it all. It was weird.
Right.
So when I do speak with him next, I'm sure he'll listen to this. Hopefully, I can have him hear my experience, and hopefully he can,
Right.
He helped me. But so that happened, and then he goes, okay, well we're clearing that junk out. Have a seat. So I sat back down, and he said, okay, well we're going to move on and go to the next part of your body. And so he asked out loud 4 or 5 times probably what else in my body needed to be healed. And he said, the reproductive stuff. And he said, yeah, in the uterus in particular. And I said, well, that makes sense because I have that pretty large fibroid,
Oh, right.
And he goes, okay, well, let's just work on that. Let's clear that out too. And so he said a couple things and then asked me to stand again. Same experience. And it was just so wild to have your body just involuntarily just move. But it was really peaceful. Like I said, it was just, you felt this energy, and like physically something was just moving you. And it was really cool.
Wow.
It was pretty wild. So after that, then I sat back down and we talked more, and he basically said the healing is now, he had to actually stop. He said, I'm sure we could find more things, but this is going to be a lot for you in one session. So, if you feel, he even told me, if you feel a little nauseous, if you feel tired, just give in to what, your body needs, and also just to take it easy. And he did warn me that I might feel worse before I would feel better after this. So basically just like a detox,
Yeah.
And oh my gosh, the next day I woke up and I just felt like I got hit by a truck. Like,
wow.
I had a sore throat, and I don't know if that was part of it or not, but my fibroid was acting up. I was like, the next 2 days after that, I was in super bad pain with that, and I hadn't felt like that in a long time. And then my liver gallbladder area started kicking up a notch, and that's been really bothering this week. So I haven't felt good, to be honest. But
wow, maybe it's like a healing crisis, like a Herxheimer effect or something.
I feel like it is. And I emailed him, and he said that's all perfectly normal and part of it. So I'm excited to see where this goes.
Wow.
It was pretty wild.
So, I mean, it makes sense that, a lot of this stuff is based on energy because, I've heard that it's when our cells die, they give off like almost an element of light. Mm-hmm. Like there's a little bit of energy
like a spark,
when people talk about how the sun goes down and you see the green flash,
right,
or something. And
which I want to have someone on our show that knows about that.
Yeah, I have yet to see that. But I've heard it said that it's the actual dying of the cells and the photonic energy that they give out that actually is what's keeping us alive.
Really?
Like that is the essence of the life force that's inside of us that animates our soul, which animates our body. And it's the dying off of those cells and the energy that gets created as a result that is the very thing that is keeping us alive.
I've never heard that before.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, who knows? But I mean, that's what I read.
That's
I think somewhere or heard or
theory.
something.
Well, I mean, excuse me. If it's based on anything that I experienced, I believe it. Like,
Yeah.
I want to encourage anybody out there who's interested in this to contact Chris Kehler because you kind of have to experience it to really believe it. It's pretty incredible.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting, isn't it?
It's very interesting. And I was telling you, like last night, I had a dream about a friend of mine, and we were sitting around talking, and
Oh, wait a second.
yeah.
I think you should tell the dream story after the break.
Okay.
Little tease.
Little cliffhanger.
Little cliffhanger. So we're going to talk about that. And what is it, a dream you had?
Yeah, and it all relates to my session with Chris Kehler.
Okay, we're going to do that right after this short break. So a few years ago when I was working for this company, it was a really small company, and I had been wanting a Vitamix blender for years and years and years, but they're so expensive, and I just hadn't saved the money at that time to get one. And so as a Christmas bonus, they knew that I loved the Vitamix, so they got me a Vitamix, the 5000 blender. And that thing is so incredible. It was right at the beginning of my raw food journey, and I was using it about 3 times a day, really. Today, I still use it about twice a day to make blended smoothies and things like that. But the Vitamix blender is really, really great. And if you go to extremehealthradio.com/Vitamix, that will redirect you over to there, and then you'll be able to purchase that, and we'll get a commission for your order. And you'll also get free shipping too, so that'll be great for you if you're interested in saving about $25 on the shipping. And with the Vitamix, you can make sauces and dips and bread. You could make ice cream with it. I've done a lot of ice cream. You can just make the most incredible things. And it's my favorite because it's got a tamper on it. And you can put ice and frozen berries and avocado and some honey and things like that, and with no water at all, and you have that tamper, and you can make the most amazing ice creams with it. So the Vitamix is my favorite blender of choice, and if you're in the market to buy one, I would greatly encourage you to do so if you have the money for it. And if you do it through us, through extremehealthradio.com/Vitamix, I'll get a little commission for it, and you'll get free shipping. So it works out for you and for us too. So if you're in the market, please do it through us. That'd be really cool. And you're going to love this thing when you get it. You're going to fall in love with it. You'll never go back to a regular blender again. So check that out, extremehealthradio.com/Vitamix, and I hope you enjoy it.
All 3 shows, all the time, on Extreme Health Radio. Opening minds and transforming lives worldwide. Join our community today. Call using Skype at Extreme Health Radio or call 949-505-9585. That's 949-505-9585.
All right, I believe before the break we were talking about a little bit about a dream, right, that you had?
Yeah, just last night. It was pretty funny.
Yeah, what was that all about?
In my dream, I was sitting with a friend, and we were chatting, a really good friend of mine.
Uh-huh.
And she was asking what my week had been like, and it was very real. I told her about my meeting with Chris Kehler, and I was explaining to her, somehow in my dream, I knew all the answers about why it works and how it works.
Right.
I knew everything. And I was starting to explain it to her, and she's like, well, she's like, I just have to leave this conversation right now. This is just too weird. And I was like, well, why is it weird? It's kind of how, like, I believe God set this whole thing up, and we're just starting to realize the things that, like, we're able to be exposed to, you know?
Yeah.
And healed. And she's just like, this is just too weird. I don't believe in it. I just think it's crazy. I'm out of here. So she, like, pieced out of the situation.
She pieced herself out.
She pieced herself out, walked out, and was super mad at me.
Really?
And I remember in my dream thinking, like, what is all this judgment? Like, it was so weird. And so anyway, and then later on in the dream, she came back to me and was like, I'm so sorry I overreacted. And I don't think I would have do this in real life, but in my dream, I was like, nope, I'm not ready to talk to you. I'm still processing. I'm still mad. And then I woke up.
Wow.
But I gather, I kind of got from that a lot of people, it just reminded me of how not open people are.
Right.
And
how closed-minded people are.
Yeah, how closed-minded people are, and that they're almost gypping themselves out of probably a lot of stuff that could really help them, and healing that could happen in them if they were just aware and open. So,
yeah, I mean, it's hard to argue with science and with how, God set things up. And, I originally started thinking about God as being outside the box, years and years ago when I started reading about quantum mechanics and string theory and the experiments that they would do with that. And, it's just, these are the experiments they're doing and the tests and the, things that they're doing, and it's all scalable. It's all, measurable, quantifiable. And, this is actually what's going on during these experiments. And, so how you want to process everything else and your reaction to that, I guess, is, up to you.
Right.
But, these are things that are going on at the quantum level. And if that's how the universe works, that's how universe works.
Right.
So not having an open mind. And that's kind of similar to my dream that I was telling a few weeks back with Kourtney Kardashian. Or
her dude.
Yeah, her guy, whatever his name is. And he had a real problem with some of the stuff that we were talking about. And, to be honest, if you listen to this show, you probably learn a little bit more about who we really are than our close friends and family, really.
Yeah.
Because we don't get to really talk about this kind of stuff with that many people. But so it's the same kind of thing where you were exposed to people who are really judgmental and closed-minded. And
yeah, it was very similar to your dream, as far as you just I feel like we're coming out of this place of, I don't know, not only are we stepping outside our box that we always have been in, but we're really learning that we shouldn't care what other people think of us and what avenues we choose to go down, and whether it's our health or our thoughts or our beliefs. It's I don't know, just kind of exposing a whole new, it's just putting, I don't even know how to explain
it's really kind of, to me, it's just an amazing thing how, God fits into all of this.
Yeah.
In some way. We're not really sure how it all works, but I think that it really, really kind of opens you up to God being a lot bigger than we thought.
Yeah.
And it's pretty profound. And to me, it's really amazing. I really think it's great.
Well, it strengthens my faith. I still feel like I have the same core beliefs in God and what I believe, but it just makes it that much more exciting and go, wow, God set this up this way. And now we're able to find out new truths, and
right.
It just makes God so big. I
know.
My friend Robin, always says she's always sad, like their God is so small, their God is so small to them, and right. I just love how she always said that, because it's true when you start to really see what I believe is the character of God and the properties of God. It's just unfathomable.
Right. It's so much bigger than we thought.
It's huge.
Yeah. And it's not so easily definable. It's pretty interesting.
So that was quite a cool experience for me this week. And
yeah.
And he's so great. And he I think tomorrow probably he sent me some minerals to take and things to kind of get my body back on track. And
so you ordered some, what was it?
Silver, gold, and platinum, I think. It was.
Look at you.
You're
going to put those on your grill or what? Going to wear them on your teeth? Get some fake gold teeth? But you know what was interesting though, is I thought about that, is those were I think they were the noble metals, right?
Noble metals.
And I think it's interesting that he gave you those because we've talked about before that when you ingest, how you've heard people talk about how through their fillings, their silver fillings, they can actually hear and pick up and receive radio stations.
Right.
And so
weird.
Which is really kind of strange. But, if you ingest these noble metals, you almost become like a receiver of, I don't even know what, some kind of frequencies that are out there. Because, there's radio frequencies flying through our bodies all the time. And, God is on a different level. And, God only knows what, is going on there. But, people talk about that, where if you ingest these metals like that.
Well, I'm going to be ingesting.
Yeah.
I'll be hearing aliens when I'm sleeping. Just kidding.
So funny. So we had an email from Gasia.
Gasia.
Oh, I'm sorry, Gasia. My bad.
We've been saying her name for so long. We're so sorry.
But she had a question about digestion and the DVD that we saw or are watching from Stephen Hines. go to his website. If you want to learn about your digestive tract and things like that, go to hopewellnesscenter.com and get the DVD, How to Take Care of Yourself, from Stephen Hines. But she was saying, but what got me thinking was food combining and smoothies. I would love to research more about it. My husband actually stopped drinking smoothies because he started to feel really bloated after them. I think it has something to do with food combining. And she talks about how she puts coconut milk, chia seeds, maca powder, spinach, kale, cucumber, celery, a scoop of the One World Whey. By the way, if you haven't tried One World Whey, check it out, extremehealthradio.com/whey, W-H-E-Y. Great stuff. Vanilla and either 3 or 4 cups of berries and blueberries, half a grapefruit. And she says she feels fine after drinking this, but she's wondering if it's actually proper food combining. And she says that I don't think we should be mixing fruits with anything. This is all so confusing, and I started reading the book Fit for Life. And I listened to a couple of these people on the internet, and so she kind of is asking us what we think about food combining. And my thing with food combining is I think that it's really important to food combine because from my understanding, as far as food combining goes, the reason why we can't combine foods properly is because of a lack of beneficial bacteria. It's a lack of those bacteria that actually turn certain properties of certain foods into properties that you could only get from other foods.
Okay.
So because our bacteria has been destroyed by chemicals and pharmaceuticals and birth control and everything else, we don't have the bacteria that we need. And so we need to start rotating our diets more and more, and we need to start eating different foods and cycle through foods and eat seasonally. But if we had all of the bacteria that we're supposed to have, we would be able to live off less food.
Gotcha.
So it's something that I think is important, food combining. And I don't know, I think you might be onto something. All those things, if it doesn't make you feel good, I definitely wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
I've been kind of playing around with different combinations of things myself.
Do you mix the two right now, or do you stick to a pretty fruit only, or?
In my morning smoothie, I add avocado. I see Michael King from Vitality Herbs and Clay talks about how you shouldn't combine fats with sugars. Any fat, whether it's raw, it doesn't really matter. I
didn't know that. I thought that's what we were doing for a while, thinking it was a good thing, right?
Yeah, because I was always under the impression that adding fats
absorb the sugar slower.
Yeah, it causes the sugar to be released in the bloodstream slower. But he says it actually causes candida.
Really?
Yeah, he said it actually causes it. So if you want to do it right, eat the sugars by themselves first and then have the avocado afterwards. Personally, I don't find that to be an issue for me, but he makes a real strong case for that.
Well, that's interesting.
It's hard to say. I think you really have to listen to your body. And I think once again, there's a lot of theories, principles out there. I love the book Fit for Life, and I generally follow those principles myself. I never really eat pasta, but if I did, I wouldn't eat it with a protein. But, I think those are really good, and I think you should also listen to your body first and foremost, and whatever works for you. And certain things might work for you on one day, and the same set of things may not work another day.
That is so weird to me.
Yeah.
I wonder where Adam Bergstrom's theory comes in too about the chronobiotic nutrition.
Yeah, Adam Bergstrom talks about how you can food combine. Actually, if you eat the foods at the right time, you can do kind of basically anything.
And I'm wondering if that would, once you have a good healed up digestive tract, if that would even, basically you could eat all these things, just eat them at the right time, and you'd have no 2 days that were different. I mean, right now I could eat something one day, be fine, like you said, the next day it could totally mess with me, or vice versa. But I wonder if, which I do want to try that one day, if I could just eat every day and feel great,
Yeah,
and it would work for me all the time.
Yeah, I think really what it comes down to is we really have to work on rebuilding our digestive tracts.
I think so too.
Really,
the intestinal villi. Got to work on that. I don't think I have any villi anymore.
You're working on it.
I've got no villi.
You're working on it.
I am working on it. You're right.
Yeah, because a lot of stuff down, like gluten, cuts those villi up, I guess.
I am so glad I got rid of gluten. It's been a year this month.
Has it?
That I cut it out.
That's good. Mm-hmm. That's really, really good.
Yeah.
So we have one other question. It's not a really question. It's just something I want to read. It's kind of long, but I want to read it because it's interesting. It's about MMS.
Okay.
And this is from Marlene, and she says, "Hi there. Just a note in regards to MMS. I developed pneumonia about 2 years ago, and I'm not one to take medications or subscriptions, so I attacked it with all that I knew and did a lot of research. One of the methods I used was MMS. I had to purchase a nasal spray bottle to get the effect that I wanted. I followed the criteria by Jim Humble suggested on his Inhale MMS through a YouTube video posted by another man. Long story short, it was very helpful in my recuperation as part of my daily routine. I did massive amounts of raw garlic, oil of oregano followed protocol suggested, and MMS inhaled and consumed with spring water followed with raw apples to stave off the feeling queasy. Something in eating apples helps with this. Hours and hours of far infrared hot heat, day and night, was also extremely beneficial. Local organic raw honey and lemon in herbal teas or spring water, peppermint oil and detox baths almost daily. Epsom salt 2 cups and hydrogen peroxide 1 cup. It took a few weeks to really kick in. Then I was recuperating slowly for almost 4 to 5 months with fatigue. I'm sure had I been younger, I would have bounced back more quickly. Happy to report all is going well, and I'm on the alert for potential colds. Just a slight cold this past winter, which was nice and short-lived. Thank you again for what you do. Stay well, stay strong, Marlene."
Wow.
Yeah, pretty interesting. So she had a pretty good protocol she used with MMS for pneumonia.
Whew.
And that's a scary thing because people die of that.
Yeah, I know.
So, if you're interested, replay that whole email so you can get her protocol, but pretty interesting.
Wow.
So if you want to listen to that interview with Jim Humble, just search Jim Humble in our website or go to jimhumble.biz. And if you're looking for, I want to just mention too, real quickly, some of the things that she talked about, like the detox baths. If you go to Vitality Herbs and Clay, Michael King has some incredible clays that you can put in your bath to help draw out toxins and things.
We have some in our cupboard.
We do.
I'm going to be doing that. It's been too hot for baths lately, but on a cloudy night like tonight, maybe that'll be...
Yeah, that'd be a good idea. And as well, if you're looking for a far infrared sauna.
Oh, man. Yeah,
you get the one that we have. It's really good. extremehealthradio.com/sauna. And I just sat in it for about 30 minutes before the show here. We took Maggie. I sat in it, and then we took Maggie for a walk.
Yep.
Came up and did the show, but...
I'm at 22 minutes, but I'm trying to work up to 30. It feels so amazing.
Yeah, it's so good. And you saw all that sweat coming off me?
I have never... You told me you sweated that much, but I'm usually in bed by the time you're doing it at night.
Right.
I couldn't believe it.
Right.
Couldn't believe it. It looked like you just jumped in the ocean.
Yeah, so that was
wild.
That was a really good, not call, but email from Marlene. So thanks for writing in.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now we have an email from Gloria to Kate's email address, kate@extremehealthradio.com. And she says, "Hi, Kate. My husband and I went into the raw food lifestyle last year and are loving it while reaping the results of weight loss, anti-aging, reversing chronic fatigue, and ridding our bodies of a lot of nagging issues. We are big fans of Dr. Robert Kassar. Coming from a sad lifestyle, we have improved immensely and are now open to healing methods we were closed-minded to before." Kind of interesting.
Closed-minded, interesting.
Yeah, we were just talking about that.
Yep.
Myself and husband Rick wanted to get your opinions on some alternative therapies out there. Number 1, energy medicine. Number 2, foot detox. Number 3, hypnotherapy. Number 4, craniosacral therapy. Number 5, reflexology. Anything you can share on these therapies would be appreciated. Gloria.
I find it interesting, the timing of her asking about the energy medicine.
Yeah, interesting timing since you're just kind of getting into that. I guess you can listen to the beginning of the show and find out what we think about energy medicine.
Yeah, at the break when I ran into the restroom, I did want to say wholeheartedly, I really believe in this stuff, and I'm a believer so far. And the fact that my body's reacting the way it is, I know it's doing something, and it's pretty phenomenal. So yes, I would say I'm very interested in the energy part, and I would contact Chris Kehler if you're interested in a session with him.
You know what? I found that, let's see what she talks about. She says, improved immensely and are now open to healing methods we were closed-minded to before. And you know what? I have to say this, that when you start eating a diet that's high in minerals and you're able to absorb the minerals, it sounds like you're doing like a lot of raw food, and hopefully you're absorbing that. When you start remineralizing your body, your brain and your mind opens up, and you start thinking about things in a new way. And when you have an open mind to this kind of stuff, it works.
It does.
It makes a difference. It's kind of like the experiments they did in string theory, where the observer actually changes the outcome just based on him observing the experiments.
Wow.
It's that kind of thing.
I believe it.
Yeah, it really opens your mind. So she talks about foot detox. We've never done those.
No, and who was it? Was it Dr. Kassar we did talk to about this?
Was it Dr. Kassar or Tamara St. John? I think it was Dr. Kassar.
I think it was Dr. Kassar, and that's probably what she's referring to too.
Mm-hmm.
And no, we have been meaning to ourselves go up, and there's a place up our street that actually does it. And we have not done them, but that is something that has been really on my list of things to do. So actually, I might do that this week and then talk more about it on the next Free For All Friday. Yeah, because the placebo effect, I think, in controlled studies is, I think it's up to 30% of the actual effectiveness of whatever treatment that people think they're getting. Wow, is that true?
I think I read that somewhere. It's up to 30%.
That's a big deal.
And so just believing that you're getting something good is going to give you a 30% increased chance that it actually works.
Well, that's cool. And from what Dr. Kassar said, he was all about him.
Yeah, he loved those foot detox.
I do believe, did he say you had to, I don't think he said you had to be careful about where you go, but if you went to certain places that do them, you get a better outcome. Was that what he was kind of?
Yeah, I'd have to go back and re-listen to the show. And then she says hypnotherapy. I've never done any hypnotherapy. Have you?
No, however, your mother has.
My mom has, yeah. She actually stopped in 1986. She used hypnotherapy to stop smoking. That's what it was.
And I was doing her hair just yesterday, and we were talking a little bit about it. And she said that she totally believed it worked. I mean, she said she went in not knowing what to expect and not sure if this would work for her. And ever since the minute she came out, she didn't have any desire, completely gone to smoke another cigarette.
Wow.
Yeah. So
that's not surprising.
No. And so yeah, talking to your mom, I mean, I definitely, she's someone I trust, and she had a good experience. The outcome was great and didn't sound like she had a poor experience. So I'm interested in it. I'm also interested in the whole hypnobirth idea. Yeah. I don't think it's actually hypnotherapy, but it's going into a state in your mind to kind of, basically get away from the pain so you can do what you have to do for your body.
It's your subconscious mind that we're so afraid of that as a culture, but really that's the part of your brain and mind that just is kind of on autopilot. And while you're doing dishes or while you're walking from your car to the grocery store, those thoughts, that's all your subconscious mind, and that's what's really controlling. And so I think that's what the hypnotherapy kind of gets in to that deeper level of your thought,
right?
And helps to. I don't know what it does really, but
I'm interested as well into the meditation part that we've talked about lately. How to let those things that come up in your subconscious just kind of bounce off you, or your conscious actually, and just kind of let stuff just not affect you. So I'm interested in all kinds of things. So I'm on the same path as Gloria.
Yeah, because it's definitely a part of our existence. It's a part of our bodies. It's a part of our makeup that we're able to tap into these different realms, because that's the part that helps. If someone, a loved one is in danger and you just go into fight or flight, and that's that deeper level that we're able to access. And so it's something, I don't know, something to look into. I really don't have much experience with it. Craniosacral therapy, I've heard, is extremely beneficial. And I
don't know anything about that.
Yeah, I believe it's the best form of chiropractic work, because from what I understand, the entire body works like, as far as the structure of it, your ligaments and your bones and skeleton and things, it works more like a slinky, and it's controlled from the top down. And so people will talk about, if your jaw is if your bite is off alignment, just a millimeter, that sets your jaw off a little bit. And then for each part that gets, goes down, like your shoulders, your hips, your knees, your ankles, everything compensates more as you go down. From what I understand, I may be wrong. The good thing about this show is we're not experts.
Right.
We're just, have learned a lot, but we're not experts. So, craniosacral, from what I understand, is one of the best ways of doing chiropractic work.
And you would personally do it if you had a need?
I've heard nothing but great things, and
cool.
you can set someone's upper cervical and have that remain in placement for months and months and months, and sometimes even years.
Wow.
Where you don't have to go back and get readjusted and stuff. You can just go back once a month and get it looked at and see if it's still in place, and it works.
That's pretty powerful.
And reflexology, I have no experience with that either.
I don't.
I wish I did.
I know. I wish I had more to say. I'm sorry, Gloria.
Yeah, sorry. I wish we had more to say about these types of things.
But if you yourself end up doing any of these, please send us an email. Send me an email and let me know how it goes, because I want your opinion as well. I'd really value that.
Yeah, I think that would be good.
That'd be great, because I'm interested in all that too.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Well, thanks, Gloria, for that email. Really appreciate it. And I'm glad that you're kind of getting on to a healthier lifestyle and doing more raw food. That's great. We're coming up to the end of the episode, and we've got a little fun facts with Kate here. So it's time to do that right now.
And now join us for Fun Facts with Kate.
Oh, man.
Where you never know what the heck is on her mind or gonna come out of her mouth.
Okay, there's our little intro to the Fun Facts with Kate.
That makes me giggle.
Nice.
It doesn't even sound like me. Okay. Fun facts for the day is green tea.
The benefits of green tea,
Yes.
I see.
Here we go. They are chock full of polyphenols.
Polyphenols.
Yep. It's extremely heart healthy. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
It promotes healthy teeth and gums.
It's funny because green tea, people, just kind of think, oh, green tea, that's kind of like a 70s kind of deal, but
right.
It's really good for you.
Yeah. I knew that, but it's cool to find things that are actually like what it does.
Yeah.
And I've seen green tea extract and green tea itself in a lot of natural toothpaste.
Oh, okay.
So that does make sense with the healthy teeth and gums. It inhibits cancer growth. Didn't know that.
Yeah, it's really anti-cancer.
Lowers risk of Parkinson's.
Wow.
Crazy. Crosses the blood-brain barrier and helps reduce your body fat. I did know that about the fat.
Wow.
People on a lot of diets and stuff do a lot of green tea, and when they're trying to slim down a bit. So
the benefits of green tea.
Yeah.
So go out and get yourself some organic green tea, and you can even make kombucha out of it, right?
That's right. That's what we use.
Yeah, green tea. And so check that out. And let's see, what else have we got going on this episode? I feel like we have tons of stuff to get to. Let's see. So make sure to go out and get some green tea if you're not already drinking it.
This is true.
You can always make some green tea and then keep some in the fridge and use it for your smoothies and things, right?
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
I've added that into quite a few. And if you don't like it, you don't even taste it.
Yeah, you can put some honey in there and,
Sure.
things like that.
Yum.
Yum.
Everybody go get their green tea.
All right, so now it's time for the inspirational quote.
Right.
You ready?
Let's do it.
Before we will say goodbye, let's leave you with something to ponder throughout your day. Here's an inspirational quote for this episode.
Regardless of what hurt you, a single fact remains. If you carry resentment in your heart, you are continuing the cycle. Bethany Butzer.
Bethany Butzer, regardless of what hurt you, a single fact remains. If you carry resentment in your heart, you are continuing the cycle. Where do you find this stuff?
I'm brilliant. I spent all day just searching the web.
Just find it on the internet, huh?
I do.
That's cool. That's a good quote.
Good quote, hey?
That's a good quote. Yeah, I like that a lot. Let's see, what else we got going on this episode? I feel like we've got lots of things. I wanted to talk about a couple different documentaries, but we don't have time for that. I wanted to talk about a complaintfreeworld.org.
Oh, right.
Wanted to talk about that. There was lots of news articles I wanted to talk about. Man.
Time gets away from you.
It really does.
I know.
I think we may have to start doing a 2-hour deal.
I know. Or at least an hour and a half.
Yeah. at least an hour and a half. So I want to thank everyone for joining us here on another edition of Extreme Health Radio. Really appreciate you joining us today, and it's really an honor to be here with you. And if there's anything we could ever do, please let us know. You can email me, Justin at extremehealthradio.com, or
Kate, Kate, at extremehealthradio.com.
And if you could do us a favor, if you could go to extremehealthradio.com/love, LOVE, that would be really, really great way to support us. All you got to do is click a button on that page, and that will help support our work. extremehealthradio.com/love, and that will help to support our work. All right. Well, I think that was about it. Thanks, everyone, for joining us on this episode of Extreme Health Radio. I believe it's extremehealthradio.com/107.
Yes.
And I want to thank you all for joining us, and we'll...
I think it's extremehealthradio.com/let's go make a juice.
That's
time.
Right. It's green juice time, isn't it?
It is, and I'm excited. I've been craving it.
Nice. So thanks a lot, everyone, for joining us, and we'll catch you on the next episode.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to this episode.
Maggie says it's time to go for now.
But our mission does not end with this show.
Justin and Kate will be back with another interview.
Packed full of ideas, discoveries, and unique ways to regain your health.
Head on over to extremehealthradio.com/